Good evening, students. Now we are going to see conversion of NFA to DFA. So here the given diagram is completely NFA diagram. We can know that by here one same input is given for multiple transition. Q0 is having 0 input and it will move to the Q0. At the same time it will move to the Q1. So this shows that this particular diagram is a NFA diagram. And we know for finite automata we are having 5 tuples and we want to explain each tuples and we want to take and write each tuples. Q is a number of states. Here Q0, Q1 and Q2 are the 3 states given here. So we have written Q0, Q1 and Q2. And next summation of input. So we are going to write what are the alphabets is used here. Here we have taken the input as 0s and 1 and we are going to identify the transitions. So this particular transition is converting the NFA to DFA, and Q0 is the initial state. Here according to the diagram Q0 is the initial state, so I have written Q0 is the initial state. And next one is Q2 is the final set. F means set of finite final state. Here Q2 alone the final state, so I have mentioned Q2 as a final state. To convert NFA to DFA, we will follow 3 steps. I have given that particular 3 steps. The first step is whatever the thing, either it is given in a language or it is given as a diagram, or sometimes they may given the particular NFA as a transition table. So if they given as a diagram or a language, we want to convert that particular diagram into the transition table. So that is the first step. And second step, according to the NFA, the transition function is 2 power q. So 2 power q means the transition function of NFA. So we want to find what is the value of 2 power q. So that is the step 2. And after finding the 2 power q, we will identify few new states will be listed there, and for that particular new states we want to find the transition function along with the transition table. So that is the third step. And if we find the transition function and transition table, we will get a list of new state along with the transition functions. Then we can find which is reaching and which is not reaching. So according to the reaching functions, we will highlight it and we can simply we can draw the transition diagram for reaching states. So we can start our process. I have given the 3 steps. By following that particular 3 steps, we'll do the NFA to DFA conversion for the given diagram. So we know that there are 3 states and the diagram is given, transition diagram is given. So we are going to identify the first step, we are going to identify the transition table. So the states are Q0, Q1 and Q2. The initial state is Q0, so I have mentioned the initial state is Q0, and Q2 is final state, and the input symbols are 0 and 1. So when we are giving the 0 input, the Q0 is having the transition of Q0 comma Q1. So I have written the Q0 comma Q1, and when we are giving the input as 1 to the Q0, the transition is to the Q0 itself. So I have mentioned the Q0. And similarly for Q1, there is no any 0 input, so I have mentioned it as a pi, that is null value. And next thing is, if we give the 1 as an input to the Q1, then that it is transmitting to Q2. So Q1, for the input Q1 I have given the status Q2, and Q2 there is no any input, is either 0 or 1, so I have mentioned both as a null value. This is step 1. Next, step 2, we know that we want to find the transition function for NFA. Transition function of NFA is 2 power q. So 2 power q, here q is that the state, number of states, how many states we have mentioned, that we want to take it as a q. So q0, q1 and q2. So q is number 3. So 2 power q gives 2 power 3, that is value 8. So we want to list of 8 number of states. So that particular 8 number of states will be, already we know that q naught is one state, q1 is one other state, and q2 is third state, which is already given in our diagram, and remaining part we want to identify the combo, that combination of q0 and q1, then q0 and q2. This particular combination we want to identify. So q0 q1, q0 q2. Then again we can have the combination of q1 and q2. So I have listed q1 and q2, and the combination of all three together. So q0, q1 and q2. So here number of states are 7 states, and this is the default state we'll have for all the NFA diagram, that is epsilon state. So by adding all together you will get the number of 8 states. So we can complete by this our step 2.